Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see who was here first. Fancy, fancy. Thank you so much for being here first. Mary H., Carol Lunn, Adrian Burrow, Francilia Mosley. Thank you so much. Emma D., Lydia Washington, Puzzle Dot, Vaughn, Carlene Beckford, Jeannie Rock Bailey, and a host of friends and others. Ingrid Sowers, Jules Ryder, um, Aris Wood, Cherry Hill. Excellent. Listen, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Okay. Really, seriously. And just to prove it, let's get on with it, shall we? Okay, so what's on the docket for today? Oh, you know what? I forgot to do something. No, I'm just kidding. Well, let me see. We have Princess Meghan's Jam, Archwell Refugee Day, Richard Eden. I'm sorry, Richard Eden, not Eden, Richard Eden. And Sussex Squad. Well, there. I guess there's this campaign to get the Sussex Squad, you guys. It's going to be very short lived, but they're trying to find some kind of way to turn the Sussex Squad into a bad word or something like that. Good luck. Good luck. There is no leader of the Sussex Squad. And of course, the bench artists. And as usual, when I run out of space, I just say, more, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? More, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? Dun, 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 dun. Remember that song, that disco song? More, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? And if you want to know how I really feel, dun, 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 dun. I love that song. And then it's got that really cool break beat. Anyway, no more than an hour, so we better get cracking, right? Release the Kraken. We had better get cracking if we're going to get out of here in an hour. As a matter of fact, I was just saying the other day, I'm just kidding. If I keep going on and on like that, we'll never finish. Okay, so that being said, let's get on with it, shall we? Shan't we? Shall we? Okay. Oh, beautiful, for heroes prove with liberating. Okay, I'm just closing a couple of screens I don't need, just so nothing slows down or lock us up on us. Okay, got it. Gosh, I had a lot of screens open. Uh huh. Okay, close that one. Excellent. All right, ready for real. Gonna take me out of here. There we go. So, 59,500 subscribers. That's right, 59,500. And that includes Elaine Parker. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you, as always, for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. More, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? Is that right, Baron? Isn't a day that the Rangers don't mention the Sussexes, even though they never see or hear from them. Funny, huh? I think it's hysterical. I think it's absolutely hysterical and very pathetic. Very pathetic. If they really love their faves as much as they pretend, then they ought to talk about them, help big them up and make them seem more important than they aren't, right? That's what they could do with their time. Okay, June 20th, Refugee Day. That's right, Worldwide Refugee Day. Or as Barbara Walters would say, Woon Winnieth, Royal Wide, wait, World Refugee, yeah, World Refugee Way. Yes, June 20th, World Refugee Way. Thank you so much. I'm Baba Wawa. That's how Barbara Walters would say it. Worldwide Refugee Way. It is Refugee Way. Now back to you, Woofy. Woofy Rollgerg. All right. All right. Again, Refugee Day. So, how was this day established? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I am going to tell you right now World Refugee Day. Okay. Uh huh. It says here, okay, there it is right there. It says World Refugee Day is an international day organized every year on the 20th of June by the United Nations and is designed to celebrate and honor refugees from around the world. The day was first established on the 20th of June 2001. That's right, 2001, in recognition of the 50th anniversary of the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees. The event aimed to recognize the strength of the refugees who have fled the conflicts and persecution of their own country in hopes of finding sanctuary and living a better life. World Refugee Day builds on the concept of understanding for their plight, which shows one's resilience and courage in the rebuilding of their futures. So remember, it is not illegal to seek refuge. It is not illegal to seek asylum, right? It is not illegal to cross the borders of a sovereign state and declare you're in search of amnesty or refuge. That is not illegal. According to the international laws that govern such things, most Western industrialized nations, they have a policy to accept people who are fleeing tyranny, and you are, under the law, allowed to seek refuge and asylum. And in most countries, you are given a day in court or a hearing to decide whether or not you are eligible. And those who are not, well, they are um, returned to their nation of origin. So just because you want to make more money is not an excuse to seek asylum. However, the only way to establish that is to have a proper hearing or in a court of law. So the idea that refugees are illegal, or that is something that politicians do to make sure that the native inhabitants are angry, because they say that hate brings people together, and a mutual hate and contempt for others, unfortunately, is what gives a lot of two-bit politicians their strength, right? So please do not feed into the us versus them. Please do not other people who are seeking a better life or fleeing tyranny. Please do not be that person. Jeannie Rock Bailey, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Anyway, that was my soapbox moment. You all know how I feel about asylum seekers. Um, we just have to make more room, that's all. And if there's anybody who feels like we don't need them over here, please tell your governments, like the United States, like Britain, like France, like Germany, like Russia, and so many other countries, please tell them to stop making life unbearable to these nations of origin that they're fleeing from. In the United States case, there's a lot of places where we make things terrible. So um, that's it. I'm not going to say anything else about it tonight. But do your research. Don't just listen to me. But I just have my feelings about that topic because I do. Because I'm a very moral person and I care about people. Did I just say people? People, people who need people. Every time I say people, I go into song. Are the luckiest people in the world. Okay, now let's get on with it. With one person, one very special person. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Let's go. Anyway, I'm not done yet. A feeling deep in your soul says you're half, now you're whole. Okay, you know what? We got things to do. That way we can get out of here in an hour. Okay, so let's just get on with it. Anyway, the arch. No more hunger or thirst, but first be a per. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I'm done. We're moving on. Anyway, where did I leave off? World, y'all know what it is. Anyway, that is James Holt, and he has been a key member of the Archwell Foundation for quite some time. And well, I believe they brought him over from the UK, didn't they? Take a look here. Today, on World Refugee Day, the Archwell Foundation recognizes the resilience and strength of individuals who have been displaced from their homes due to conflict, persecution, or violence. As you can see there, they're packing some care packages. Take a look here. Committed to uplifting communities, the Archwell Foundation supports those resettling, addressing both immediate displacement needs and long term care, particularly for women experiencing social isolation through the Welcome Project. These needs are cared for through social connections and access to vital resources. This week, our team participated in a volunteer day to assemble personal care kits for refugees, families in our local communities. These include essential items such as shampoo, conditioners, soap, and bathroom furnishings, and will be donated to families through our partners at International Rescue Committee. Since 1933, the IRC has helped people affected by humanitarian crises that is, to survive, recover, and rebuild their lives, and work to welcome those settling in a new home. That is beautiful. As we continue to collaborate compassionately with families and partners, We envision a future where inclusive, interconnected communities thrive, united by our shared humanity. So there you go. That must have been so much fun. And it has to feel really good to be a part of something like this, right? Where you're just smiling and happy and packing stuff, knowing that it's going to go to people who really need these things. It's a matter of human dignity, isn't it? So, hygiene products in particular, they're the last dignity that most people lose is their hygiene. So, fleeing from a bad situation, you'll find yourself not as you were, and so this has got to go a long way on the other side of things. So, I think it's beautiful. Now, let's get on to Godzilla. Yeah, Camilla. Camilla. Anyway, kind of sneaks up on you, doesn't it? Just kind of sneaks up on you. Well, are you ready? Here goes. Take a look here. Liz Jones, I've become a Camilla fan because she reminds me of Diana. Oh, you guys, I know you're not ready for this, but I declare this monster has it's like she has stolen Diana's life. And then of course the Us Weekly, it is as though they are insinuating that the real reason they can't make up has to do with Camilla, which we all know that anyway. How Camilla came between King Charles and Prince Harry. And will things ever change? Not likely. Not likely. Uh, yeah, not likely. She has worked very hard. She has dug in deep. Her hooves have broken the topsoil and have been permanently fixed into the earth. And she's just, you, what do you do? What do you do? She has dug in deep. And that article by Us Magazine, it just comes as no surprise. I'm not surprised by that. Um, I would say we've been discussing as much for the longest. I hope this article has some impact on the way we see things or the way people report. Actually, not the way we see things, should I say, but the way the mainstream media reports on the royal family. But the truth is, they have a lot of influence on media in other countries, in particular the United States. Um, and it's not a lot that can be said or done. I'm hoping, and I've said this before, I'm hoping, I'm praying that in the future, not anytime soon, because that may not be appropriate or it just may not be helpful, but someone has got to tell Diana's side of the story from Diana's perspective, from Diana's experience, as close as humanly possible. Because over and over again, time and time again, on too many occasions, like for instance, The Crown started off an amazing series. And by the last two seasons, it degraded into a vehicle for Charles and Camilla. It wasn't supposed to be that. Then we find out Peter Morgan has received one of the honors from the royal family. we find out that Charles and Camilla, they're friends with the actor who played Charles the last one or two seasons. I mean, it was despicable. And the whole dream sequence of Diana talking to the Queen and forgiving Charles. Come on. Come on. It was sickening. I'm just sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm sick of it. And yet, and yet, it appears as though they have gotten away with it. And what bothers me about the crown in particular is that the crown is the way a couple of generations may view the royal family, through the prism of lies and misrepresentation. I can't take it. I cannot take it. But it's happened, and it made Harry seem like he was William's enabler. Harry's the one who's always passing William alcohol when there is an excellent chance. And of course, I have to say, I'm going to allege this anyway, that William may be the one with the drinking problem, not Harry. So, I mean, look at that. Look at that. His face is all red and blushing. What kind of hold does Camilla have over William? It seems as though she has gotten her talons, her hooks, just sinking them into his flesh. It is sickening. How is this happening? Camilla has been central to so many of these things that has to do with the royal family. She has been at the center of it. And Charles is as weak as water. Weak! That is a very weak man. The Crown is seen not as a documentary, but a well-made soap opera. People are smarter than the UK media realizes. Yes, that may very well be the case, but on the surface, and until people do some real digging and thinking for themselves, and I know this because I've had people say to me, quoting things from The Crown, and I have to like have this meltdown before I could make them believe that it is all fiction. It's all fiction. Even someone very close to me fell into that trap. And I said, "You don't believe that, do you?" And I said, whatever conversations that are portrayed in The Crown, please assume those conversations did not happen. They did not happen. This is where they take license with the actual events, period. So it is a problem and is not easily dismissed. I mean, yes, there are a lot of intelligent people who actually Google while watching docu-series. I'm one of those people. I hold a phone in one hand and the remote in the other because I'm trying to learn the real storyline. But I'm just afraid that there's a lot of people that are too lazy or just not wise enough to do it. And so the version that we're stuck with may be that of The Crown, or worse, the tabloid media. Like that big thing that big lie, should I say, that Jeannie Bond had told about um, Princess Diana being okay with Camilla. That is all part of Camilla's plan. She has so many of these people on board that the truth is slowly being buried, I'm afraid. And that bothers me. Huh? Huh? Did you just feel something well up in the back of your throat? Did you just feel something well up in the back of your throat? Did you get that acid taste in the back of your mouth? Do you see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I'm looking at here? As a matter of fact, if you put a blonde wig on that odd face of his, he'd look just like his mother. Good God. I saw that and I'm just like, I'm gonna upchuck. How much of Diana's life has been hijacked by the likes of Camilla? Do you see this? Do you see what I'm looking at? That is awful. And this is just, oh, oh, this is awful. This is awful. And I don't care that they have a close relationship, but I care that Harry has been pushed out into the cold for the sake of those Parker Bowles people. I know, Marcia. I know. It's is it is the kind of stuff that haunts your dreams. It's the makings of nightmares. Nicole says, I believe the British media presents a false picture to the world. I believe the Brits are not into the royal family as they make it appear they are. Make it appear they are. I'm sorry. They love Diana and her son, but their tries to deny it. Yes. Yeah. Well, and that is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. And I have made this point several times. We are in a bit of a bubble. And in some cases, you might even say an echo chamber where we mostly are listening to other squatties, right? Or other Sussex supporters. And being that as it may, we have an overblown assumption that most people in Britain feel strongly for or against the royal family. The truth is, and I've been to the United Kingdom several times, most people just go about their day. They just go about their day. They're not so concerned about what the royals are doing or thinking or feeling. But yes, there are some hardcore monarchists or royalists or whatever you want to call them, and they try to be there for every occasion. But as evident by the last troop in the color, those numbers are slowly melting away. So there is a very silent majority of people that like the Sussexes, and that's the problem. They're very silent. I wish more people would speak out, but I don't begrudge anyone who chooses not to speak out on more occasions because they got lives to lead as well. So you can't, hate them for their lack of involvement. But yeah, I saw that picture on the left or those two pictures, and I'm just like, what the what? What the what? I guess I'm insulted and just a little hurt because that gigantic baby Huey of a young man is in the royal box, a royal seating area with Charles while his own flesh and blood has been spirited out of the family because he would not allow that institution to abuse his wife and his children, because he laid down the gauntlet and would not allow the lies from Kensington Palace to prevent him from complaining about leaks. He's been pushed out because every time he looks at Camilla, it's a reminder of the terrible person that she is. And look at Charles' face. Look at his face. Look at those very stupid, ignorant, unwise eyes gazing out of that screen. That is the weakest, stupidest, just weak. Charles is weak. He's not a man at all. He's a child. Charles wanted to keep it in the family, but didn't with Diana. I guess that he gets close enough with Camilla that Philly can't win a race. So he rigs it. Thank you, Legs. That Philly. I say that fella, but anybody with a square jaw like that is no Philly. That's a fella. But I digress. But yeah, I am very, very frustrated by this. So, how long has she been cultivating this? How long has Camilla been tending this garden? How long has she been leading that sheep to the slaughter? I mean, how long has this been going on? Wait, I'm not done yet. Huh? Huh? It's outrageous. William has absolutely no dignity, not a shred of dignity left. It's as though he favors Camilla over his own mother. You notice he doesn't even speak of his mother. They have poisoned him against Diana. I really do believe that he has been poisoned against the memory of his mother, his birth mother. They have poisoned his mind. And it just goes to show you how stupid he is. His mind has been, and remember, projection, the projection. Harry has, what is that they said? That he has been brainwashed by all those California liberal uh, pseudo psychologists or whatever, when the truth is, it's William that seems to have been led astray. And then it's like she's already working on the next generation. She is already working on the next generation. And what she is doing is she is securing place and securing opportunity for her family when Charles is gone. Let's see here. Oh, thank you so much, LM. I'll say your initials, LM. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for the PayPal. I really, really do appreciate it. Okay, so she's working on the next generation already. Never miss a beat. Never misses a beat. And I got it wrong. I am going to admit I had it all wrong. I was thinking that William wasn't going to go to the not the troop, the Commonwealth Day, because the Commonwealth Day was led by Camilla, not the Prince of Wales, but Camilla. William should have led the Commonwealth Day, not Camilla. So I'm like, well, okay, William's not going to go. Surely he won't go. Well, I was about a week wrong, because it wasn't that he didn't go to the Commonwealth Day, he didn't go to Constantine's memorial service, which was what? Led by Camilla. Camilla has become queen, not queen consort, queen. She has been acting as though she's a regent. Of course, lately Charles has been working. Oh, 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 you guys. Oh, I just had a chill go through me. You do know that the color that Camilla is wearing in that photo, that was Queen Elizabeth's favorite color. And I'm going to tell you why I know this. Not only the Queen, but the Queen Mother, they were very fond of that shade of blue. And I remember that from Princess Diana's wedding. Okay, I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google it. Hold on. I'm going to show you. And this is that odd ability of me to recall some of the smallest details. Give me a second. Oh my God, I just had a chill go through me. I wasn't even paying attention for a second there, and then I'm just like, wait a minute. Wait a flippin' minute. Oh. Mm-mm-mm. Give me a second. Give me a second. I tell you, she's a cold and clever and very callous person. That one. Got the whole world food, she does. I'm telling you, I just caught a chill. I just saw that and I'm just like, no, she didn't. She did. She did. Give me a second. I'll bring it up. Just a moment. Oh, monster. Monster, monster. I hope this opens. You see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? That is the Queen's color. And I remember on the wedding day, they said that that was a favorite color of both the Queen and the Queen Mother. Well, apparently, not only is it a favorite for the Queen and the Queen Mother, but for the Queen Consort. Do you see what I'm saying? This is deliberate. How did I miss that all this time? I'm literally looking at her and I'm just like, wait a flipping minute. Oh, what a troll. Are they doing engagements? What about elections? Oh, yes. Thank you, Legs. They were supposed to stop doing royal engagements because of the upcoming election. But yet, there they were, Royal Ascot. What else did they do? I think the flower show was before that call for the election. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's been a few things. There's been a few engagements, and William has gone to a football match. So, yeah, I don't think they announced They made the announcement, but that was it. That was it. It was just an announcement. They didn't mean it at all. Yep, I don't know how I missed that. Oh well. Francia Mosley says, Baron, those people live in a bubble. All those fake smiles. Seabiscuit will never be the true beloved queen. She gets booed when she appears as well. Yeah, but that is true that she gets booed. But the idea that they're um, slowly eroding the memories of Diana every chance they get. And they're trying to replace not only Diana, but Queen Elizabeth. The Queen. They're attempting to erase the Queen's memory, as evident by the fact that she's barely mentioned, as though she was just some little footnote in history. Oh well, let's move on. So the king says he wants to see Prince Harry's kids. So why'd you kick him out? So Tom Sykes of the Daily Beast wrote this article about the royal children. And of course, sure enough, Charles did throw the Sussexes out. He evicted them from their Frogmore residence, which means that they have no royal secure safe space in the United Kingdom at present. And that being the case, Harry is refusing to bring his family, if at all possible for any reason. He will not bring his family over until they have made some type of arrangements where royal protection is involved. And I don't blame him for fighting for that. I don't blame him because that's his birthright. He did not ask to be born into that inadequate institution. That's his birthright. Okay, so right here, oh, you know what? This is a collage for Refugee Day. It's out of place, but there you have it. I love the whole very bespoke, um, shall we say, what is the word I'm looking for? Um, oh gosh, I can't even think of it. But anyway, I just think it's really cool. I mean, with the tape and everything, I love that. One of the squatties put that together. I can't remember who, but yeah, it has that very artisanal look, whatever that means. And check this out. What's his name? Stormzy. Um, do you guys notice any similarity in their pose? I do. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a very beautiful thing. Huh? Just goes to show that our friend Misan Harriman knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. I love that. And check it out. Juneteenth, 2024, Google Doodle artist Christian Robinson is finding emancipation through art. In conversation with the Griot illustrator and Meghan Markle collaborator, Christian Robinson discusses the inspiration behind the 2024 Juneteenth Google Doodle um, and art as liberation. So the Google Doodle, you know, like when you open up a Google to search, well, this is what popped up. That is a genuine Christian Robinson. He's the one who did the Google Doodle. Now, unfortunately, I do believe that is gone. But while it was there, it was fun Très magnifique. Okay, so take a look at it up close. I like the way he does his art. Now, you probably remember Christian Robinson from this. The artist behind Meghan Markle's children's book, award winning illustrator Christian Robinson was inspired to start drawing as a child to cope with his mother's imprisonment. Christian Robinson from Sacramento is the artist behind the illustration in Meghan Markle's upcoming children's book, The Bench, published by Random House. Okay. And now, if I recall, Meghan asked for certain colors, I think, that was not really a strong suit for Christian Robinson. I think he just didn't really care for it. But look at what an amazing job that he was able to do in spite of. I think that was it. Or was it that he didn't? Well, whatever it was, um, he was able to do it as a special consideration for the Duchess of Sussex. And the rest, of course, is their story. This is your bench where life will begin for you and our son, our baby, our kin. That, of course, is an excerpt from Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So the book is actually based on a poem. Now, one of the reasons why the book is such a winner is because the illustrations of Christian Robinson. If not for Christian Robinson, the book would probably be very different. But Meghan called him after seeing his work and personally appealed to him, will you work on this book for me? And he said, yes. And of course, it became a New York Times bestseller. And I'm just going to say, I'm sure the book would have done well anyway. But with Christian Robinson's illustration, the book had such a very, I guess, very, the colors are very zen. They're very relaxing, but yet vibrant. But yeah, I think the colors did a lot. The whole color scheme. I'm going to show you some more. Huh? I mean, it's so simple, but yet it's incredibly elegant. Well, hello, Shadow's mom. Hi, Tash Mac. And of course, here's a collection of benches. Now, I don't have the book in front of me, but when you open up the back cover of the book, there is a collection of these benches. Like, for instance, the very square looks like it would be an oak bench. There's a park bench. There's another park bench, followed by another. And there's a swing like some people would have on their front porch. And, well, anyway, those are the collection of benches, and I think they are gorgeous. Wonder if you can get that from IKEA. So, as Juneteenth celebrates the kickoff of globally, that is to commemorate the end of slavery in the United States post-Civil War, a timely piece of art will serve as a reminder for anyone who uses Google's search engine. Christian Robinson, an American illustrator and animator of children's books, was tapped by Google as of 2024 guest artist to create his Juneteenth doodle. Speaking to the Griot, Robinson discussed what inspired his design. If Juneteenth is about celebrating the freedom from slavery and all that oppression and pain, I thought, what's the opposite of that And for me, it was play, joy, leisure, he said. So that's what I wanted to show is just kids having a good time and descendants of enslaved people living their best life. So that is very, very cool. Let me see here. Is Super Shadow's Mom? Okay. I have a copy of it. I have a copy of it. It's so beautifully illustrated that I mean, let me just go back here for a second. I love the color combination. It's almost like a taffy apple. You can see the delicious caramel which has been poured on top of that big Granny Smith apple. I love that apple green color. And it is, it's kind of like an apple green. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Megan has quite an eye. Megan is an artist, so she knew what was necessary. Okay. I would love to play Megan, you know, doing the voiceover for the book or whatever, but I believe that might be a copyright infringement. So, but she sounds amazing. But if you want to hear something really amazing, get the Spanish version of the um, the bench. You got to hear Megan speaking Spanish for the bench. It is so beautiful. As a matter of fact, it wasn't just beautiful. It was well. I'll put it to you like this: Megan could read anything to me, anything, and it would sound beautiful. I mean, the phone book would probably have a vast improvement if it was recited by the Duchess of Sussex. Okay, I'm moving my computer as I speak. Okay. Hi, cookies and cream. Thank you. Connie Bummer! Hey, Connie Balmer. All right. And anyway, you all can look at that later. Hi, Connie Balmer. Let me see. Dorothy McCaskill says Camilla's son might also be Charles' son. You know, I'm going to say I I could see that. I could see that as a possibility. But if you look at Tom's, is it Tom? Which Andrew? If you look at Andrew Parker Bowles' face, if you look at his face, you see his son. I believe. I don't see a strong resemblance to Charles there at all. But Andrew Parker Bowles, I can see Andrew Parker Bowles in his child's face. So it seems like it would make a lot of sense, but I don't see that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a look at Andrew Parker Bowles one more time before I commit to that. Uh, I'm taking a look at Andrew Parker Bowles' face. You know what? The thing is, Andrew Parker Bowles and Camilla, God, they look like they're related. Um, yeah, Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I see Andrews. Oh, here's a picture of them side by side. Yeah, I'm gonna share this photo with you guys because I'm looking at him and I see him. I see him. I mean, it sounds compelling, but I just don't think it's true. I mean, it just seems like something that could be true because, you know, I think that a lot of these people that we discuss are absolutely vulgar and are capable of anything and everything. And I have very little regard for any of them. Um, if they're not in that Sussex household, if it's not Granny Raglan, I don't really care for them. Okay, so here, I'm going to show you. Going to show you a side by side with Tom Parker Bowles. So much for getting out of here in an hour, you guys. So much for that. Oh, wait, it wouldn't open. Let me see. I think I got to get rid of something to make that happen. It's a big file. Try it again. Come on, you can do this. Open up. There we go. There we go. See? See what I mean? It looks proper to me. Looks proper to me. And there's another photo that I saw where his eyes are not as old and miserable. That looks even more identical. And also, look at that big um, nose. You know what I'm saying? They all got that Parker Bowles nose. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes that that's his son. Hello, Connie. It seems so good to see you back again. How long has it been? It seems like a mighty long time. Shabop, 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 Connie. It seems like a mighty long time. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Where are we here? All right, so I want to share this with you. This is some of Christian Robinson's work. I love Nina Simone. I love Nina Simone. And who's did a great job doing this? As you can see, Christian Robinson lovingly illustrated the high priestess of soul, Nina Simone. Someone who has conveyed my emotions not only through song, but through sheer audacity.
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Stars, they come and go.
So, as I said, someone who is like my spirit animal, someone who has my love of music in the palm of her hand. That, of course, Nina Simone. And Christian Robinson, looking up at some of his artwork there. I wonder if that's a playground inspired by his work. I don't know. But anyway, it looks cool. Now, Zandy Sussex says, in the Kansas story, they saw an opportunity to rehabilitate her image as Saint Kate and to weaponize cancer to cover up the clear marital rift. The C word will continue to be used to facilitate a half in, half hour arrangement for both her and Willie. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. This is why they don't like the Sussex Squad. This is why they do not like the Sussex Squad. It's because of these very clear analytical thoughts that have been conveyed time and time again, where we just take the smallest little piece of thread and we yank on it. And next thing you know, you have something like this. Now, it was my idea to put the halo on her head because that, of course, is Saint Catherine, Saint Kate. So I figured if she's a saint, she deserves to have that halo. It is tarnished. You can't really see it, but it is very tarnished. That is a tarnished halo. Tarnished. Now, I'm going to play a sound bite for you all. This is mixed pivot. Yeah, mixed pivot. Stars, they come and go. All right. Regina. Regina Mercedes, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, let me cue this sound bite. It seems so good to see you back again. How long has it been? It seems like, oh, there we go.
First, the British royal family and their trajectory is almost like a slow moving train wreck. At the top, you've got Exhibit A and B, Trooping the Collar, the King's birthday celebration. The Queen would never have received that kind of greeting. And then we have, the regular sycophantic articles published that didn't really get the traction they were hoping, actually got negative traction. And that's why we have this down here, this article by this propaganda hack guy. He's saying some pretty ridiculous things about not Harry and Meghan, but about us, the Sussex Squad. It says Prince Harry and Meghan's fans are a danger. We're such a danger. We're actually a danger to them for debunking all of their ridiculous lies and exposing the British royal family for being cruel and petty. And lest we forget, we've got Cara Middleton, Kate's mama, who is now under the British royal family banner. She's at the Royal Ascot today with Willie. Great for optics, I'm sure. Let's pivot to good humans doing good stuff, shall we? We've got James Holt, the executive director of the Archwell Foundation. If you want to know more about the foundation and their production company, I've pinned a post below. Did you know that today was World Refugee Day? I didn't until I went to their foundation's website. It says that they are committed to uplifting communities. The Archwell Foundation supports those resettling, addressing both immediate displaced needs and long-term care, particularly for women experiencing social isolation. They work through the Welcome Project, which is one of their projects through their foundation. Good stuff, all amazing stuff. And yes, Sussex Squad is known for their contributions, for contributing to all of their projects financially. But I would really like a Archwell hat. Sometimes you'll see Harry wearing the hat. I would like the hat as well. Thank you very much. Or I would just settle for the American Riviera hard lunch, please. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I'm sorry that was not very loud. I hope you could hear it though. But as you see, And I've said this several times. This is why they don't like TikTok. They don't have control over TikTok. And when I say they, I mean anyone who identifies as a right wing, right, I said right, anyone who is into misleading masses of people, they don't like TikTok. TikTok hasn't been governed by the usual suspects. We all know who owns X and several other platforms, some of which I can't name, but we know who owns those. But they don't own TikTok. And so TikTok, they allow for a whole alternative of information to many of the other platforms. And I'm choosing my words carefully, but that's why they don't like it. And currently, there's a genocide taking place. And the reason why we know so much about it is because of TikTok. Because those young people will not be silenced. And so when people say, "Oh, the younger generation," I don't think they're gonna do as well, or they're not as tough as we were, and I don't believe that for a single moment. These kids are fighting. They're fighting for a lot of different causes, and when it comes to the Sussexes, most young people are firmly in the Sussex camp. Okay? They are firmly in the Sussex camp, most of them. They have to pay people of a certain demographic area to say bad things about Harry and Meghan. Everybody gets it, at least for certain younger people. And they cannot control that. If you look at the polls, which, by the way, remember I said this a while ago, you don't see them talking about polls right now because the royal family is not doing well. Ever since they went below the watermark, what's happened? Charles has cancer, Kate has cancer, Charles had to go away, Kate stayed away and still away. All of that happened because their poll numbers tanked. And they haven't recovered yet. They haven't recovered yet. Shadow's mom, thank you so much. Uh oh, I left my bell. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex and for the super sticker. Okay, but yes, they have not recovered. And I'm going to say that when did they start sinking? I think they really started taking on water badly with Endgame. It started with Spare, right? And the docu series and Spare. That's what started the bleeding. And then they really started taking on water with Endgame. Endgame is just that. Endgame was enough to make people run out and get a facelift. That's how bad Endgame was. Endgame was so bad it made people go get facelifts. Endgame was so bad it caused people to go get a prostate exam. Yep. And you know that's terrible when a book is so hard hitting that it makes you go get a prostate exam. Yes, I did. We talked about that yesterday. We sure enough did. We talked about that yesterday. And I tell you, she reverted to, you know, you could take certain people out and you can polish them up and everything, and you can put some nice clothes on them, get their hair fixed, colored, and fixed. You could do all those things. You can take the Middleton out of Buckleberry, but you can't take the Buckleberry out of the Middletons. You know what I'm saying? That is Mike and Carol, and they represent British Airways. He as some type of dispatch, and she the consummate air hostess. And as air hostess, she just happens to have access to probably a metric ton of beverages that she collected over her years of employ at said airline, right? And so, anytime that there's an occasion and things get kind of tough, we all know what happens. When the going gets tough, the tough hits the sauce, right? And then every time she walks up to someone, she's like, Your Highness, how do you do? I'm Carol, B.A. Middleton. And of course, BA doesn't mean badass, it means British Airways. So there she is, Carol Middleton. And if you remember, she couldn't contain herself when they went to that football game that time while everybody else was enjoying the game. Look at the eyes on that guy behind her there on the left. You see his eyes like, oh my God, are you serious? I mean, he's just looking at her. He cannot believe what he's seeing. I mean, check it out. There she is, trying to be discreet. Look, 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 look. And then, of course, I love the way she just kind of, she's looking around like, hi, y'all. Hi. How's everybody? How's everybody doing? And then there you go. Those eyes right there. Karen Walker, I thought I smelled gin and regret. Well, that is the look of gin and regret. Why, if it isn't Karen Walker, Esmeralda Dillon, thank you so much for the super chat. Baron, did MI6 brief on the Sausage Squad? You know what? I wonder about that. I really do wonder about that. The Sausage Squad, probably. You know what? I mean, you may as well have a twofer. While you're there trying to arrange something for your wife, something, you might as well try to sort out that Sausage Squad at the same time. But thank you so much for the super chat. And Raffaella Bertoni, thank you for the super sticker. Okay. There we go. Oh, that was from yesterday. I'm sorry. I got to get back over here. And there you go. So, Richard Eden, what a friend of Prince William has told me about his plans and why it left me worried about the future of the royal family. He is worried about the future of the world, of the royal family, y'all. Well, what's got his knickers in a twist, you ask? Well, you didn't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It turns out that this is the state of things with the royal family. Now, minus Kitty, because we don't know when Kitty's coming back. So just cross Kitty out for now. After Kitty, what do you have left? You have 13 people? Yeah, I think there was one more, right? I think there was someone on the other end there. But there was 13, I thought. Well, mine is Kitty and it's Slim Pickens, right? And we discussed this a long time ago that after the coronation, they won't have many big events unless someone dies, right? And or a coronation. They have nothing of substance for the next 10 years, possibly, right? They don't have anything. So, unless something happens to Kitty, or unless something happens to Charles, or unless something terrible happens, period, they don't have anything. They don't, because those three children are the future. And if George waits as long as his father to get married, that's 20, about almost 20 years from now. Now, what about the other two kids, right? Well, they have to get permission to marry anyway. And if the permission is not granted until William is married, then they may have to suffer I mean, not William, George, until George is married, they might have to suffer. Like when Harry and Meghan were married, what was it, Beatrice or Eugenie? They had to wait until long after the Sussexes had married and gone on their Oceania tour. And that is when, well, actually, they went to the wedding the day before they left for the Oceania tour because they had to have permission. As a senior royal, you have to get the sovereign's permission for marriage, for naming of children, which, if you think about that, you have to get the sovereign's permission because Harry is so close in the pecking order for the line of succession. Well, line of succession. It would appear that they would have needed the Queen's consent to name Lilibet Diana. They would have needed the Queen's consent to name Archie. That is a rule, as far as I know. The reason why Beatrice is not named, I forget what the alternative was, because the Queen didn't like the other name. I think they wanted Savannah or something like that. And the Queen was like, And so they said, what about Beatrice? Bingo. So if they did that for those children, I'm pretty sure the Queen also had to do that for the Sussex children. But you can't expect the Sussexes to respond to every lie and every accusation because you really do have to save that for the big moments when it matters the most. So it gets frustrating for us because we would rather have our faves address some of these things, but you have to, you really have to wait until it matters the most. Let's see, Baron Mike and Carol Brady, the Middletons, don't even compare with TV characters. The royal family are playing on thin ice, and the coming years are going to be very tough. I believe that too, especially looking at those three children. You can never know what gifts those children have brought into this world to share with you. And because I don't want to, you know, what is I'm trying to say, I don't want to cause any problems for those kids. I don't want to be the cause of any of their problems with my opinions and such. So I try to avoid that because those kids are innocent and they should not they should not ever be treated as the enemy in any way whatsoever. Which unfortunately the Diana endured those insults from the paparazzi, where they called her terrible things just to get those photos in front of her children. Right? That was one problem. And the other is that the media can be very cruel, even under the best of circumstances. So, okay. Thank you so much for your comment. And moving on. Well, there you go. 44 people jammed on that balcony. Vastly different from the way things operate today, right? Very different. So, what Richard Eden is alarmed about, well, you know what? I'll let him tell you in his own voice. Now, give me just a second to cue that up, but check this out. Baroness Brooke, Baroness Brooke, who is not a squatty, she's a royalist, but she has become very impatient with William and Kate. Well, right here, you can see Baroness Brooke says two frat boys uh, competing for who gets to have more holidays and shirk their duty more spectacularly. I don't know why she has it in for William because I promise you that Baroness Brooke is not a squatty. But when she decides to lash out, she does a great job of it. And that's another example right there. So it's always very classy, but a read nonetheless. Okay, so this is it. Um, I'll let you listen to this. Very interesting. Uh, 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 uh. Oh, oh. If you like it, then you got to put a ring on it.
Colour. Obviously, it was wonderful to see Catherine back on the balcony, but the viewers might have noticed just how empty that balcony looked. You know, you think back just a few years, and it used to be packed with all the extended royal family, but that policy was changed by Queen Elizabeth because of Harry and Meghan.
Right.
You know, it was too awkward not to invite them onto the balcony, but then to invite kind of minor members of the family. So they had this new policy of just the working royals up there. What I was told was that, unfortunately, from my point of view, because I don't really agree with it, but Prince William plans to stick with his father's view of this slimmed down monarchy. What this means in effect is that there won't be any new working royals.
Right.
So, you know, Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, is the youngest working royal other than William and Catherine, and she's 60 next year. And the others are even older. The Duchess of Gloucester, it's her birthday today. You know, happy birthday. She's 78. Or we've got the Duke of Kent, who was on the balcony, is, I think it's 88. You know, so they're of an age, and there won't be any new ones. He won't be asking his cousins, you know, Beatrice, Eugenie, or Lady Louise Windsor, to be full-time working royals. So that it's very significant and changes the whole nature of our monarchy.
Well, they're going to be spread rather thinly then, aren't they? And Rebecca, you could say that even if William wanted to carry on with this policy, once that monarchy is slimmed down, if they decide that they need to fatten it up again, that's a hard sell to the public, isn't it?
It is financially, and it's something if he was going to do, he might have to even fund out of his own pocket. I mean, the one thing I would say is I think the reason why...
Wait a minute. Did she just ask Rebecca English about fattening up something? I'm just asking for a friend. Did she just ask Rebecca English about fattening up something? Did anybody hear that? Is there something wrong with my ears? If I was Rebecca English, I wouldn't take that. I'm just saying, if I was Rebecca English, I wouldn't take that. But anyway, I digress, and I'll let Rebecca English finish speaking.
Once that monarchy is slimmed down, if they decide that they need to fatten it up again, that's a hard sell to the public, isn't it?
It is financially, and it's something if he was going to do, he might have to even fund out of his own pocket. I mean, the one thing I would say is I think the reason why monarchy in this country has survived for, as long as it has, many, many centuries is because it does evolve over the years. And although we saw Queen Elizabeth as a very steadying presence, behind the scenes she was constantly, adapting and changing. And I wonder if in a decade or so's time the public appetite might have changed again, and they might actually just feel happy with that kind of.
Did she just say appetite? Did she just say appetite, the public's appetite? Because if I was her, I wouldn't worry about the public. The public is doing well. Anyway, let me let her finish talking.
Whole nuclear family that is William, Catherine, and their children. Who knows? But I think it would be very difficult for him to kind of go back and start drawing people in again. That said, I know we kind of differ on this, Richard. I was really touched by the scenes we saw at Ascot this week, when you saw William was there on Wednesday, and as guests you had Zara, Mike, Beatrice, Eugenie, and there was great pictures of them all in the kind of paddock together, and Zara with her arms slung around William, and you could see such a great bond between them, and it would be nice, I think, maybe.
No. Okay.
I'll call it.
Okay.
Very.
So that was me being very tacky, I think, but so I don't know about you guys, but I think there was a little read in there, but maybe not. So, I mean, why did she have to look to Rebecca and ask Rebecca English about fattening up something? How come she didn't ask Richard Eden or that other girl? Huh? But she turned she turned right around and looked at Rebecca English and started asking her about fattening up something. I just thought that was rather rude. If I was her, I wouldn't take that.
Obviously, it was wonderful to see Cat.
If he was going to do, he might have.
Just the whole nature of our monarchy.
Well, they're going to be spread rather thinly then, aren't they? And Rebecca, you could say that even if William wanted to carry on with it.
Did she say rather thinly? It's just going from bad to worse. Rather thinly, fatten up.
Spread rather thinly then, aren't they? And Rebecca, you could say that even if William wanted to carry on with this policy, once that monarchy is slimmed down, if they decide that they need to
the colour, obviously it was
rather thinly, slim down, fatten up. What is she trying to say? What is she trying to say? You know what? As an over-caffeinated, chubby baby boomer, I'm starting to get offended. I think she's doing too much now.
It's very significant and changes the whole nature of our monarchy.
Well, they're going to be spread rather thinly then, aren't they? And Rebecca, you could say that even if William wanted to carry on with this policy, once that monarchy is slimmed down, if they decide that they need to fatten it up again, that's a hard sell to the public, isn't it?
It is financially, and it's something if he was going to do, he might have to even fund out of his own pocket. I mean, the one thing I would say is I think the reason why.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you all heard the same thing I was hearing, because it is going to be rather thin. And if he wanted to fatten it up instead of slim it down, um, if he do wants to slim it down instead of fatten it up, um, it'll probably be because it's spread rather thinly. We are still talking about the royal family, right? I think we're still talking about the royal family. We're not talking about the royal road, are we? And I don't know about you, but don't you feel like Robert Jobson should be, I guess, kind of squeezed into this somehow? Anyway. So there's another one with Richard Eden.
What could all this mean for our friends in Montecito, Meghan and Harry?
Yes, I mean, remember that when Prince Charles then had the plans about the slimmed down monarchy, Harry was very much part of that. We saw that on the balcony at Queen Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee in 2012, where it was just Harry and his brother with Camilla and the King and Queen Elizabeth then.
Yeah.
And so he was central to those plans. You know, Charles thought when Harry had a family, they would be carrying out engagements, they would be sharing the duties with William. So I think time is running out. You know, if Harry wants to come back at any stage, he needs to do it while his father is still king, because I really do think that when Prince William is king, would he even take the calls from his brother? Can you imagine? I really can't see him letting Harry come back and have a role again. They are irrelevant now. They're just not wanted as part of the monarchy.
Oh, never say never, Richard. It's family. Never say never.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps, who knows? Maybe there will be some radical change, but it's hard to see now, particularly when all the focus is on Jam.
We've seen stranger fictions become truth in this family, I think.
Okay. So Richard Eden makes a good point, although even when they display their vulnerabilities, in Richard Eden's case, he is feeling very vulnerable because his stock in trade, his bread and butter, is talking about the royal family. And speaking of the royal family, such as it is not very interesting. Without Harry and Meghan, there isn't much to talk about. And so they make it a ritual, a weekly ritual to sit down and have these interviews or these discussions. And instead of talking about the royal family such as it is, they keep reaching over across the ocean and I guess dragging Harry and Meghan into the conversation or into the dialogue in some kind of way to make sure that it's palatable, that it's interesting. And it will definitely bring some clicks and some likes and shares and such, but it's not foolproof. And I'm going to show you why. You see those pathetic people? Well, that's Arthur Edwards, Robert Jobson, and of course, Roy Anika, and I forget who this lady is right here with the fuchsia, with the hot pink. I don't know who she is, but she's very mean, and I don't like her. She is definitely anti-Sussex, right? Well, I want you to hear what she has to say about how well this particular podcast, I want you to hear how well this one is doing, right?
Let's
hours and hours, but I'm sorry to say that is all we've got time for this week. We are now going on a series break and we don't have a set date for return, I'm afraid. My thanks to Katie, Arthur and Rob today, and to all of the guests who've appeared on The Royalty over the past couple of years. And in particular, stories for hours and hours, but I'm sorry to say that is all we've got time for this week. We are now going on a series break and we don't have a set date for return, I'm afraid. My thanks to Katie, Arthur and Rob today, and to all of the guests who've appeared on The Royalty over the past couple of years. And in particular...
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know if you guys caught on, but what she was saying is they are taking a break. They're taking a break. They have no set date for return. It means that the show is a flop and they cannot afford to produce this show because you have 4 people sitting there getting the same amount of views as Tisha Tells. I repeat, you have 4 people sitting there getting the same amount of views as Tisha Tells. And these 4 people, they ain't making a lot of money for doing this, but it is still a nice amount of money that has to be split 4 ways, and not everybody gets an equal share, which is very odd saying that and looking at Robert Jobson, because if anybody has gotten their portion and somebody else's is Robert Jobson. But I'm speaking in terms of, payment. I don't think everybody's getting their equal share. I think it's based on your talents and history and such. So I guess what I'm trying to say is these shows are not making a lot of money. They are not. And yet here's another one that has toppled another show, another anti-Sussex hour that has just gone the way of the dodo bird. It has it's gone extinct. They have no date of return, which is the same as no return at all. But I want you to know that in spite of that, they were just as vitriolic and hateful and nasty and ignorant as they would have been any other day of the week. They didn't sound like a show that was going out of business. They sounded like a show that was fighting for ratings. But in this case, they were not going to get any higher ratings. What they were doing was being their usual cruel selves as the show came to an abrupt end. That's it. They're done with the royalty. And trust and believe, this is part of a sequence. This is like dominoes falling. We just wait and see who else is about to go down. I believe that. I really do believe that. Let me see. Hip hip hooray, karma on your tails. Take that, SOBs. Yeah, it is good news. It is very good news. Zara, the tongue ring Tendo. Zara and Mike have long been known for their sweet displays of affection. Well, I think that's rather tacky for them to go to the Royal Ascot and for him to grab her bum like that. But because it's Mike and Zara, nobody cares. I repeat, because it's Mike and Zara, nobody cares. Nobody's interested and nobody cares. Kate's brave public return exposed a very private vulnerability, but says Maureen Callahan, it also proved why she couldn't be more different from Meghan. If you don't know who that is, Maureen Callahan, I refer to her as the albino assassin. She is bleached out in just about every way you can imagine. Ugh. But Madame Peroxide, Madame Peroxide, she always has something snarky to say about the Sussexes. Well, let me tell you, I didn't even read this article because I don't care. This whole idea of a comparison, they just want people to click onto it. And so the only way to get people to read it is to throw Meghan's name in it, but you already know that. So they are both tacky, vulgar, but at least Mike is grabbing his wife this time. Not a. Yeah, I know what you mean. You're talking about that Big Brother show, huh? I know what you're talking about. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay, so everything is a hoax, right? Everything is a hoax. Um, she says brave public return exposed a very private vulnerability. Well, I don't know if it's so brave to return with $1 million makeover, a possible facelift, right? And of course, a stylist, perhaps a hairdresser slash makeup artist to help you put together that award winning look so that when you go to the, what do you call it, the Troop in the Colors, that heads will turn. Aside from the fact that she looks painfully thin, I thought Kate looked beautiful that day, almost as if she had never been sick. It's as though she had never been sick. And as well as she looked at that point, you have to wonder how come she ain't been working, not even waving to uplift the spirit of a nation. So take a look there. That's the brave face, or the brave faces. Those are the brave faces, all 5 of them. These 4 and a couple of other ones, I think. So there's the brave face and another brave face. That face says, you know what? I've been through it. But nah, I don't see why. I don't see why people that are royal supporters are buying this, because they have been hoodwinked. They have been bamboozled. Kate has a notorious reputation for laziness. And then when she comes back at a time and a place of her choosing, the king's birthday, she comes back and she looks very different from the way she left. Like, for instance, right here. This is the brave face of Kate Middleton. Very brave, isn't she? And this is brave Kate. This is brave Kate. And I just cannot get past the fuss that they made about her after 6 months' absence. And they were willing to accept everything she said at face value. I mean, make the comparison. Kate in the car with mom, Kate at the farmer's market, and then, of course, just Kate struggling, they say, struggling for the Troop in the Color. Doesn't seem like much of a struggle to me, but I'm just a layperson, not a professional. Great to see you again, Kate. Remember that? You would have thought that, yes, finally, proof of Kate. It wasn't Kate. And look at how similar that particular front page is to the other front pages that you see on the right side. Look at how similar they are. You could easily just change the date. The tabloid media, they're not interested in the truth. Their only interest is protecting the royal family. That's the only truth that they know, is protect the royal family. No objectivity and no pretense of objectivity. 173 days Kate was away, left a huge hole in the nation's heart. 173 days. Now they can give it a number. Before they weren't giving it numbers. Now they can. 173 days. I cannot help but believe what some people are saying, and that is that there's been no cancer. There was no cancer. But would they lie about something like that? They called Meghan a bully, and I don't believe that. So, yeah, they would. I'm not saying in this instance that they have, but I'm just saying, if necessary, I think they would lie if they deemed it necessary. Now, let's get on to some pleasant news because we're almost done. That, of course, is Opal Lee, grandmother of Juneteenth, Freedom Day. Well, this is the house that I mentioned yesterday, Opal Lee's house. This house was gifted to her. It was built on land that belonged to her family, but a mob of people drove them from their homes, from their home, because Opal's family, of course, they were all black, and the white mob drove them away. So there was a charitable agency that purchased that property. The property was still vacant. They never built anything there, as though the land was suddenly sacred and they did not want to disturb it. Well, when she went to that charitable organization and she said, I'd like to buy that property, they said, we can't sell it to you. But to right a wrong in our nation's history, we're going to give you the house. And that's what they did. That is a newly built house. Let me show you a better photo. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful house? All these years later, she was a little girl. So let's say probably almost 90 years later, 85 and a half, 80 years later, she moves back to the property where she was meant to grow up. That is extraordinary. I love that. I love it. Okay, so here we go. Sussex Squad, proud yourself. All right, proud self, appointed member, debunking lies, bringing receipts, raising money for charity. We will not let the British media bully the Sussexes with their lives, right? Lies, rather, with their lies. So this is not really a Sussex Squad pledge or anything like that, but I don't know, you could take it for that if you choose. But yeah, we are not going to be bullied by those people. And with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Love you guys. Good night. It has been a pleasure. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And as usual, I'm going to end with those long goodbyes and just say good night. Love you guys. And of course, we still need to do our Ginger Avenger. So, okay. Good night. God bless. And pray for all of the squatties that have been ill or suffering, had surgery, etc. Okay, here goes. Cue the Ginger Avenger.